Alongside CBS lead NFL insider Jonathan Jones, the two-time champ Bryant McFadden, and future Hall of Famer Patrick Peterson. This was not the performance nor the final score maybe we expected in this one, but it is the outcome, Mac. 23-21. The Texans take care of business. We've talked about it all day long.
Yep.
No style points needed, but you are wanting to present your best here. What sort of effort did you see from Houston?
Well, I was a bit surprised to see some of the success we saw from the Raiders offensively against the Houston Texans, because as of late, Houston, they've been one of the more dominant defenses in the National Football League, even though they did put 7 points on the scoreboard with that Derek Stingley Jr. Interception return for a TD. But outside of that, we saw some issues in the running game, right? Ashton Jeanty had a career-like day, 128 yards, I think. This is his best rushing effort in his rookie campaign, not to mention what he did in the receiving game as well, a 60-yard touchdown reception. So when you talk about Ashton Jeanty, and we've seen how bad it has been for the Raiders in running the football, something clicked for them in the running game against this outstanding Houston Texans defense, but they made the necessary plays. CJ Stroud made the necessary plays in the passing game for them to do what was most important, find a way to win, and they did. So shouts out to the Houston Texans, and I got to be encouraged from what I saw from the Raiders, because I felt like this was a team that was spiraling in the wrong direction, getting ready for the next upcoming draft.
Yeah, Raiders are a team right now that are looking towards not just the draft, but what they can move forward with, what those pieces might look like. Houston has far different designs right now, Pat, similar to some of the other performances we've seen throughout the day. They sort of come up short of our expectation coming in, defensively specific, as BMAC just spoke to. What did this team lack today that they usually have?
Probably running the football. The running the football today, they didn't have that effect running the football, and I believe that's some of the things that is able to help free up CJ Stroud. We saw that his numbers today was 23 of 35, 87 yards, but he made those necessary plays down the stretch and to give their team an opportunity to win. But the biggest surprise was this is probably the first time that we didn't see the Houston defense be as dominant and have as much of a force in probably the last 6 weeks. If Derek Stingley don't get that pick six, who knows what the outcome of this game could be. So I know the Houston Texans, they lean on their defense. It's probably one of not their best performances, but moving forward, I know these guys will come out banging next week.
I mean, this is a Raiders team that could get blanked on any given week, and I think that we may have thought going up against the Houston Texans defense that they would. You know, you might say two fluky plays, right? I mean, Ashton Jeanty catches one for 60 yards and scores 6. He rushes one for 51 yards and gets 6, right? So you take away those two huge explosives that he really hasn't had this season, the Raiders haven't had. I'm okay with this Houston Texans defensive performance. They're still the best scoring defense in the entire NFL. And when you talk about scoring defense, one thing that's left out of scoring defenses is when the defense scores the football. And so that's something that the Houston Texans also do that should be figured into that, where I looked at C.J. Stroud. He didn't have Woody Marks back there. He was inactive for this game. Jordan and Chubb combined for a little over 80 yards, and so you hope that you get Woody Marks back next week in a tough game. I think they're playing the Chargers this upcoming week. When they get healthy there in the backfield, I think that's going to help C.J. Stroud. And the defense, of course, if you're going to take the football away and score points, that's always going to help.
Yeah, they did just get dinged late in this game with a big piece up front as well, something to keep an eye on. But this is a Houston team that defensively, we know they have enough. This is just one of a handful of teams this season to score 20-plus points on this Houston defense. The Las Vegas Raiders, they come up too short here as Houston tallies another W. Not great. Giants get their 9th consecutive loss, longest active streak in the NFC, and positioning ever closer to a potential first overall pick. The question quickly becomes, what do you do with the first overall pick? Our Sportsline projection says it won't be the New York Football Giants, rather the Las Vegas Raiders have an inside track for that pick.
They play next week.
Yeah, still, that will decide it more often than not, or more likely than not. But the question now becomes, on the line that we heard earlier this season, that thank goodness for all.
His pocket presence is really not there yet. So well to where they may need to get an offensive coordinator in there that can coach some of those things out of this system, because right now the way that he's playing, that is not winning football. That's putting his team in harm's way week in, week out. And like you said, today was his shot to go up against a Brian Flores defense, to show what he has in the pocket, show what he can do down the field. He was not able to do that today.
It's going to be a new leadership in that headset, trying to foster the talent of Jackson Dart. It might be new leaders all over the entire framework of the New York Football Giants. And anytime you bring in new decision makers, they have to decide whether that quarterback is the route forward. What are you seeing from Dart here in the rookie season, from the best we've seen to the worst we've seen, and how that all adds up?
I've seen digression from Jackson Dart, and I'm not solely going to say it's all on him. I think when he lost Brian Daboll, that messed up the flow that we were seeing with him in the lineup when Brian Daboll was the head coach. Because the digression that we're seeing, the comfort, the rhythm, the precision, none of that is the same now, which is expected because Brian Daboll was hands-on with Jackson Dart.
Very much so.
Yeah, very much so. And then when you factor in losing your head coach who had found that spark in you, all of a sudden trying to get acclimated with a new voice in your head, and you have some issues with talent surrounding you, they're going to struggle. So I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment with him throwing for 33 yards today, but in totality, if you look at Jackson Dart, in 10 games that he's played, 20 total touchdowns, 7 interceptions. With that has been surrounding him, and it's not a lot. I think that's serviceable because he's shown flashes that he can put you in positions to win. Great point, Pat. He has to learn to protect himself better. But in terms of competing and fighting, he has that. It's just about who comes in as the head coach, the staff, being able to get the best out of him, because before Brian Daboll was fired, it seemed like he found something in Jackson Dart that provided a sense of quality, competitive nature, leading their team in positions to try to win ball games.
You say 20 total touchdowns. I say he's doing a lot of ad-libbing with the legs. And yes, it is a value add.
But he had to.
Exactly.
He had to.
It cannot be your primary skill set at that position. We've seen some bad habits also work into the pocket presence, to your point, of Jackson Dart. They got big decisions to make, and it's going to be premium capital for the New York Football Giants and what they want to do with it, whether it's first or it's not. It is a big decision moving forward. Sort of tying these two things together, J.J. McCarthy injures his hand. He's now missed 23 of the possible 32 football games in his professional career. One is year one is year two, but do you expect either of these franchises to be active in the quarterback market?
The Minnesota Vikings will absolutely need to find a veteran quarterback option there for 2026.
Tua?
And look, they could go a number of ways, and I think that they're going to inspect every avenue. You could talk about a Tua, you could talk about a Kyler, you could talk about a Daniel Jones, you could talk about a number of guys who very likely could or will be available that the Minnesota Vikings will look to have a true quarterback competition in training camp. Okay, a true one. Because J.J. McCarthy, that's why they tried to bring back Sam Darnold, but they didn't. And J.J. McCarthy going into camp, there was no doubt that he was going to start week one so long as he was healthy. That's not going to be the case and cannot be the case in 2026. No matter that he was seemingly playing well until the hand injury, the fact is your best ability is, of course, your availability. And he has not been available to this team. Meanwhile, for Jackson Dart, the way that he plays means that he won't be available to this team. We have seen it time and again. He's not big enough. He is not big enough to be taking the sort of hits that he regularly takes. B-Mac, you made a great point about Brian Daboll. And the fact is that they fired Brian Daboll because of the blown leads in the fourth quarter. But there were pros to Brian Daboll because he was so hands-on with his quarterback, and he was getting the best out of Jackson Dart. There's no question about it. The best Jackson Dart has played so far this season is when Brian Daboll was in his year and as his head coach. And you had to fire Brian Daboll, and everybody around the league understood it and knew it. But that was the drawback. His most trusted confidant is now gone. And Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator, looking for his sort of shot at being the interim head coach. This is why, if I were an agent of some of these guys, I'd say they fired the head coach for a reason. This team is not very good. Do not mess up your head coaching prospects going and being an interim head coach of a bad team. and that's what Mike Kafka has done so far. That's what happened with Thomas Brown last year with the Chicago Bears. And so this continues to happen where he has the injuries to Malik Neighbors. Andrew Thomas has not been out there on the field. The team mascot, Cam Scatterbo, has been gone. So I don't put so much on Jackson Dart because he has to put so much on himself right now, and I'm not surprised he's not being successful.
That's fair. Can we do that one more time? The best ability is
availability.
Followed closely thereafter by actual ability. And that's what we question here on CBS Sports HQ. Here's a look at the longest losing streaks in Giants franchise history. Such a storied franchise, such a deserving fan base of something to root for. But now is not that time. It's 9 consecutive losses, tying the record for the second longest streak in franchise history.